number three. So Stivers, he defined the interest group in accordance with the technology. What we know, friends from school, friends from work, colleagues. What means interest group in accordance with the technology? I'm not sure that this is like a real term from his book because I read the Croatian translation. The Culture of Cynicism. Great book. This is how he calls those colleagues, those friends from school, from street. He defines that. These are not friends. You've been simply put in technological process. You're in a school or university. You're in the same class. You share the same program. You share the same challenge. And this is bonding you. And then you start considering each other as friends. But what do you have really in common? Nothing. Just technology. You do the same job. You have same problems. You have same paperwork. You think you are friends? No. You are simply interest group in accordance with the technology. So what happens with those friends once you cease to go to that school, once you cease to go to that university, once you cease to do that job? How many of them remain to be your friends? Very few or nobody. Why? Because you never had anything in common at the first place. I'm talking only in the case if you're sold. If you're not sold, then you have many friends. No problem. You're on the same level as the majority. You share the same interests. If you're not, big into Manchester United, you probably are big in Liverpool or whatever, BFAB, whatever you're following. So you're always gonna have a common ground with the majority. If you're a guy, you're probably into beer and chicks. And now if you're married, you're probably into mortgage and that kind of stuff. So you're gonna have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people to share your low materialistic values. Or for women, nails, hair polishing, anything to look good so you can sell yourself on the market for the highest bidder. This is what they call love. When you have to look beautiful in order to sell yourself. I call it prostitution, but they call it love. We simply call the same thing differently. What is love to you, for me, is just a prostitution. That's what it is. You have to look apart, to be apart, to get something. You're defined by your body. In this case, you're just a merchandise. Again, something what fits very well. The mentality of organic portals, because they're only bodies. They're only bodies. They have some emotions, very basic. Some mental capabilities, again, to store information and to execute it. This is what they do. They get programmed, they execute it. So, another definition of organic portals is biological robots. So what is the difference between biological robot and a souled human being? And I'm gonna tell you the difference. I was working in a school, Sarasa Zvitek, teaching English G3, G4 at the time. And this was the phase when everybody been happy with me. Kids learning fine, everything fine. And then in one class there is one girl, bright girl. She stopped me outside and she wanted to talk about solar system. She's interested into solar system. G3. Her English, basic, but she's intelligent. She knows how to express herself. I'm like, wow, willing to learn. Amazing. Another guy sat with us, he is from G4, fat, typical geek, but so bright, fluent English, excellent, interested into science. It's like amazing kids, willing to learn, willing to know more, curious, incredibly curious, in a culture where by definition people don't know their neighboring countries. By definition, people don't know that they exist on a planet Earth which is evolving around the sun. In a culture where it's perfectly normal that a guy with a university degree asks you, what is the difference between Germany and Europe? Is Germany Europe? Is Europe Germany? It's confusing me because England is America, right? Well, it's a bit complicated, so let me draw you a map of Europe and America and the rest of the world and explain you. So you see, it's like you have our kind everywhere, and you have majority everywhere as well. And this is the difference. Completely different vibration. Check out the trailer for the movie Frequencies. I never seen the movie, but trailer has something significant. Trailer has like this boy who's functioning in ultra low frequency, and his mother asks, the teacher, will he ever have a normal life? And the teacher says never. So this is the point. If you are one of us, you fundamentally function on different frequency. Different frequency. But you are put in the container which looks pretty much alike as everybody else. So there, your ego gets formed. You have no memory, right? You've been born, you've been programmed and beaten and programmed and beaten. Your ego gets formed and you believe, okay, this is it. This is pretty much it, right? So, why am I so different? Well, nobody's gonna tell you that. This is something you have to figure it out yourself. And then you first gonna be hit by your religion. Where I was born, it's Catholicism, and Catholicism is all about feeling guilty. So I started to, research, and first thing what hit me was when I was 21 was transcendental meditation. Then I learned Silva method, mind controlled. Then I entered in the New Age. In the New Age, I learned about different dimensions, about aliens, but of course, everything through the point of view of the New Age. No conspiracy, only happy things. So I learned the hard way. I learned about the Illuminati while I was working for the Illuminati on Queen Mary 2. Big ship, actually the biggest at that time. Loaded people cruising on that ship. We had George Bush Sr. visiting us. We had Jacques Chirac, we had Kawasaki family, Rothschild lady, one of those penthouse people, $75,000, 10-day apartment on a cruise with the butler. I was taking pictures of them. I was a photographer. And then I've been given a book, Hidden Hand. So 10, that was 10 years ago. Seems like 10,000 years ago, really. And this is how I learned it, by being there. And it was tough. It was tough to be there. So nobody's gonna tell you that. You have to figure it out yourself and dig for those little resources you have around you to start understanding the system. And then I became devoted Buddhist. You have no idea how sinister Buddhism is. It's teaching you that you don't have a soul, that you are only 5 aggregates: body, feelings, mental formations, perception, which is only recognition, and the memory, and the mind, which combines that all. So you are simply recognition, which recognizes this is tree, this is human, with the memory base. You have some emotions and mental formations, which are mostly hit from outside, and a body. So that's why in Buddhism you don't have reincarnation, you have rebirth. And what is causing this rebirth is, your defilements, like greed, hatred, delusion. So human is simply human container with some formations caused by the defilements. And according Buddha, rich people are rich because souls. How he has no actually term for souls. He simply says those who finish their rebirth in the higher realms, in the heavenly realms, get reborn as a rich people and nobility, while those who finish their rebirth in the hell realms got born among families of bamboo cutters who eat dog meat and drink fermented drink and no dhamma. So this is the Buddhist way and Buddha's way to explain the social injustice. I know there are many other things in Buddhism, like, hey, Lord Buddha, how come rain starts? And he says, well, oh no, how earthquakes start? And he says, rain comes down, it goes under the ground, it gets boiled, and it's moving the earth. And, scientific explanations, like, where is the end of the world? And Buddha says, well, many have been flying, and but they couldn't find the end of the world. It's without the end, So, you're reading this, and how come an enlightened human being didn't know that? So, it took me took me like two years to figure it out. That's a lie as well. But you see, every lie has some truth in it. And good part about Buddhism is meditation. So this is what drawing people to Buddhism, because Christianity simply doesn't give you possibility to meditate. You're simply supposed to pray and hope everything's gonna be fine. Still better than some other religions where you have to chop off the head to end up in hell. I mean, sorry, in this case in a heaven with shitloads of virgins. So there there are different levels of religious evil on this planet, right? Buddhism happened to be quite okay, but what happens in the practice? Again, organic portals. Again, people who cannot see. I've been thrown out with another monk from the monastery simply because we saw abbot with girls and we spoke about that. So in Buddhism, you can actually have a sex only if you are abbot and have money. Then it's okay. Then nobody's noticing that. Well, those few white people in the monastery did notice that and spoke about it. So we've been out. But topic was organic portals. Again, organic portals, they function very well in Buddhism. For them, Buddhism is you bow to Buddha 3 times, you learn chantings. With the chantings, you make money. With the money, you can buy yourself stuff, and it's okay. Being Buddhist monk is perfectly fine. You don't have to think. You just follow, chant. You get some money. You have lots of free time. It's okay. If some things in Buddhism don't make sense, don't worry about it. You're thinking too much. So, Buddhism didn't work for me, especially in the practice, involving corruption and sex. But also didn't work for me in the theory as well. Like, things simply don't match. But to know that you have to read original books, Nikayas, they cost money. You don't get them for free. You get the small books done by the English monks. You get them for free. They're very nice, very, very, very well. All controversial parts are simply taken out, and only nice parts are inside. So I was fooled by that. I was fooled by many things in my life. But things really started to change since year 2012. When I started to see. Then it was increasingly more and more difficult to, keep your eyes shut. 14:25, I should stop.